Okay, we're going to get started with our program. Thank you for joining Quran Team. Hello and As-Salaamu-Alaikum. Greetings to all and Ramadan Mubarak. My name is Shahadah Abdul-Rashid, and I'm a Community Initiative Specialist for the Free Library of Philadelphia. I would like to welcome everyone to Quran Team, a special celebratory event by the Free Library of Philadelphia in partnership with Philly's Islamic community, one of the largest on the East Coast. Today, we have an exciting experience planned for you. We'll be commencing with an uplifting and inspiring talk by Assistant Imam Hudhaifah AbdulHayy, a slideshow by Joseph Shemtov, one of our special collections coordinators, featuring some of our Islamic manuscripts and other gems that live at the Free Library of Philadelphia in our special collections department. And we will conclude with a recitation of the Quran by an up-and-coming Hafiz who's a teenager, Abdullah Ibn Hanif. So that brings me to the name of our program, Quran Team. I know many of you are wondering, what's that all about? So it's actually a play on words of the word quarantine. So quarantine, quarantine. This experience is meant to inspire us all who are quarantined at home and due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and add a little bit of light into our lives during this tough time. Even though we are at home, if you look at the positive aspects, we're afforded the opportunity to dedicate more time to praying, playing, and bonding with those closest to us, our family. This is the spirit of Quran Team. So, also, we will be experiencing a beautiful recitation of the Holy Quran by a teen. So it fits, Quran Teen. Sorry, it's corny, I know. So here at the Free Library of Philadelphia, we initially planned an iftar, or a meal for the breaking of the fast during this month of Ramadan, and so that we can share in the festivities with our Muslim community. And also to kick off our 2021 exhibition, Manuscripts of the Muslim World. So keep a lookout for the exciting news about what we're doing with Manuscripts of the Muslim World. Some examples of what we'll be doing: we're going to have a community cultivated collection of items, traveling trunks that will go around to local masjids and other institutions. And we're going to have family-centered programming such as calligraphy classes, art classes, cooking classes, and just other classes and programming that help us delve deep into the Islamic religion and culture. So as of now, I will stop talking, but I want to let everyone know, feel free to use the chat option or the ask a question, and we will get back to you. But I will go ahead and pass our virtual mic on to Assistant Imam Hudhaifah AbdulHayy, who will enlighten our hearts and minds with selections and inspirations from the Holy Quran. Shukran and thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praises are due to Allah, who is Lord of all the worlds. And we send peace and blessings upon his noble Prophet Muhammad. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him and upon his family and upon his companions until the day of judgment. As-Salaamu-Alaikum wa rahmatullah. May the peace and blessings and mercy of Allah be upon everybody. First and foremost, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Hudhaifah AbdulHayy. I am a member of the Philadelphia Muslim community and a member of Masjid Mujahideen, located on South 60th Street, in particular, under the leadership of Imam Abdul-Rashid. I'm a member of his administration, and the duties that he has delegated to me would be those duties of setting up the educational process to make it conducive for the Muslim community. I also, along with a few other brothers, lead the 5 daily prayers. And I'm also in charge of making sure that we have a speaker or a khatib for the Friday congregational prayer. Those are the duties that Imam Asim has delegated to me. Secondly, I would like to thank the Philadelphia Free Library for reaching out to us to hold this presentation to the Muslim community in particular and the general public. And this is a good thing because it shows their willingness to have inclusion of everybody, of the human family, the family of Adam. So I want to start off with, we want to talk about Ramadan. Even though we know this is the middle of Ramadan, we still want to talk about it because we are going into the end of Ramadan. And as I heard one Imam say, it is time to roll up our sleeves and to really get in. And one of the things that we do with the month of Ramadan is that we look at it as a friend that comes every year and brings nothing but good. Ramadan brings nothing but good for it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, or God, the Almighty, the most glorious, He says in the Quran in ayat 183 in Surah Al-Baqarah, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kutiba alaykumus siyamu kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. And in this ayat, in this verse, He says, O you who believe, fasting has been prescribed for you as it has been prescribed for those before you in order that you might learn taqwa. And we're going to go into that word in a minute or two, but we want to really get into this ayat and see and understand what Allah is telling us. And the first thing that He's telling us is that, again, that, oh, you who believe, the believers, those who are Muslim, Siyam has been prescribed for you as it has been prescribed for those before you. And what he is saying to us is that of all the nations that had prophets that He sent from Him, whom we believe in, that they all had some type of fasting that was prescribed for them, that was a part of their religious law. So what we say in Islam and what has been prescribed for us actually has been made a law for us. Fasting is a part of Islamic law. So Allah has prescribed that for us. Then again, we want to take a look at the word siyam, which in some cases it can mean fasting, but also means abstination. Abstination from bad behavior, from bad character, from doing bad things. This is a month that Allah has picked for us to be able to learn taqwa. Like He says, la'allakum tattaqun, in order that you might learn God consciousness, in order that you might learn God fearing, to be conscious of Allah. So when we look at this, and we take this word siyam and utilize it in its translation as abstination, what we try to do during this month is to abstain from those things that we would normally do that is not pleasing to Allah, and try to do the things that are pleasing to Allah. And one of the things that the Prophet Muhammad has told us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is that the devil himself, Iblis, the shaitan, a'udhu billah, is locked away. So what we see of ourselves during the month of Ramadan is us. So any improvement that we see that we need in Ramadan, it is the opportunity to start to practice that, so we can have that character, that good character, and that good behavior throughout the year. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, in order that you might learn God fearing, that you might learn that consciousness, to be conscious that Allah is ever watching over you, that He is present in every moment of your life. And when we take this word taqwa, which means God consciousness, it is like a shield. It protects us. It protects us, and the sword of that shield is khawf and raja. meaning that we practice taqwa because of khawf, which is an emotional fear and dread of Allah's punishment, and the raja, which is a hope for his reward. So this is one of the reasons why we fast. At this time, we are fasting during the pandemic of coronavirus. And it is a challenge for Muslims throughout the world, and specifically in Philadelphia, because I'm from Philly and I talk to a lot of Muslims. And we are frustrated because of the social distance that is being practiced. We have to practice this. And what I would like to inspire the Muslims with is something that this is new to us, but it's not new in Islam, because there were plagues that came and calamities that came during the Muslims, during the time of the Prophet and after the time of the Prophet. And one of those things that we are well aware of and is well written in history is Ta'un al-Amwas. Ta'un al-Amwas. Okay, the plague of Amwas, which was during the time of the Khalifa Umar ibn al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him. And at this particular time, the Muslims suffered a lot of casualties because of this particular plague. But the fact is that Islam covers the whole total of the human experience. So the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he has told us that if we suffer a plague, that we should actually stay in our places where we are, because we don't know. Or he said that verily this could be a punishment from Allah for all of the people that it strikes. Okay. The other thing is that he says, so the one who stays in his place with patience, then he will have the reward of a one who is a shaheed, or one that is a martyr in war. So this quarantine is a part of our religion. Our religion gives us latitude. Allah gives us latitude, meaning what? If you're sick, you can't fast. If you're traveling, you can't fast. If you can't make wudu, you don't find water, then you make tayammum by patting the dirt or dust and spreading it over certain parts of your body. Islam is very easy, and it covers the total of the human experience. So what the Prophet has told us is that one who suffers from this, from a ta'un, a plague or a pandemic, epidemic, however you want to call it, then if we stay in our places and we utilize it as, and we have patience, and we understand that this is from Allah and it's something that he has written down for us, then we will have the reward of one who is a martyr, and that is one who fights in the cause of God. So this is what we want to understand, that Islam gives us latitude. Allah gives us latitude in the Quran. So we should not be too upset. Sure, things have changed for us. This is the new norm. But Allah did not leave anything out of his revelation that would not benefit us today. As it comes to our families, this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity for us to bond with our families, to bond with our wives, to renew our love for our family. Okay, we can sit now and we can have a lot of things that we can do because of social distancing. We can do a lot of families. The Prophet Muhammad, who is our example in everything that we do, he said, khayrukum li ahli wa ana khayrukum ila ahli. He said, the best of you are those who are best to your families, and I am the best one to my family. Meaning what? We use him as an example when we deal with our families, whether it be husband to wife, wife to husband, parents to children, children to parents. One of the things that I would like to say, because we are stuck in the house with our wives and things can get hectic, it's stressful. It can be stressful. But one of the things that I would like to say and add into this talk is that when we talk about the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we have to talk about his first wife, Khadijah. And this is a true This is the greatest love story of all time. And I don't want to get into the whole story of Khadijah marriage with the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, but there's one thing that actually struck me in her support for the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. When he first seen Angel Jibril, he was upset. He was very scared. And he ran home and he told Aisha to wrap him up. And there's a whole surah based on this. Yeah, ayyuhal mudaththir, oh, you who is wrapped up. So he went to Aisha, and Aisha, she consoled him and she wrapped him up. This happened twice. And when he went home the second time and told her, that man I seen in my dream, I seen him again in reality without dreaming, and I fear for myself, meaning that I think that I'm losing my mind. So she said, she wrapped him up and she held him in her arms. And she said, the next time you see him, let me know. The Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, I see him now. So she took her head wrapping off and she said, do you see him now? The Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, no. Then she put her kimar back on, covered herself up, and she asked him, do you see him now? He said, yes, I see him. She said, verily, he is an angel. Because if he was not an angel, when I took my covering off, he would have stayed here to prove that he was a devil. So verily, I support you in your prophethood. So she understood this. The Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu, she supported him in everything that he did. In everything that he did, she supported him, and he loved her for her support. And of course, we know the story of how he supported her. As far as his children is concerned, not only did he raise Khadijah's children, but he also raised the children, his own children by Khadijah. And at times he would teach his children. He would teach them a lot of things about believing in the law and about being kind to people, all the good characteristics that a Muslim knows. As a matter of fact, there is a hadith on the authority of Anas ibn Malik. And he said that the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, he said to Fatima, yeah, Fatima, his daughter, I love you. So do not let the morning or night go by where you do not make this dua. And he said to her, the dua is, Ya Hayyu Ya Al-Qayyum, bi rahmatika astaghith, aslih li sha'ani kulla, wa la takilni ila nafsi tarfata ayn. And he said to her, oh, Fatima, I love you. So do not let a day or night go by without you saying, oh, you who are the all living and the self-subsisting, two attributes of Allah. He said, do not let that go by without you saying, oh, the all the all living and the self-subsisting, I seek your mercy. And I ask that you put all of my affairs in a proper order and do not leave me to myself for the blinking of an eye. So this is just a few examples because we don't have time to go through a lot of things, the history of this and the history of that. But these are just some examples of how the Prophet dealt with his family, how he dealt with his wife, how he dealt with his children. And at this time, during this pandemic, while we are practicing social distancing and quarantining ourselves, we should actually be taking opportunity. This is an opportunity for us to bond with our families, to strengthen the family tie. It is an obligation that we have as parents also to make sure that the tarbiyah, the raising of our children in Islam, is done in a manner that is pleasing to Almighty Allah. And with that, I want to say, again, I thank the Free Library for inviting me on. I hope I've transmitted the message the best that I could. And I say that anything that I said right, it comes from Allah. Anything that I may have said wrong, it comes from me. I pray that Allah forgive me for any mistakes that I make. I ask that the Muslim community make dua for the Muslim community. And we want to again thank the Free Library for their beautiful participation in this. I thank all of the people that are listening. I thank you for your beautiful listening. I thank you for giving up of your time to participate in this program. I thank you for your beautiful listening. I thank you for your beautiful sitting. And may Allah have mercy on us all. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك وتبارك اسمك وتعالى جدك ولا إله غيرك. As-Salaamu-Alaikum wa rahmatullah. And now Joe will come on with a presentation, and I think everybody should take their time and look at this presentation, because this is a very good presentation of some ancient Qur'ans and manuscripts, which is a part of our history that were made gifts to the Free Library. I've already witnessed it, and I think that everybody should take time, which I'm going to take time again because I seen something that I knew about, and Joe and I spoke about that. So Joe, take it away.
Leave, Imam. Thank you for that very powerful talk. And we thank you for coming and doing this presentation during Ramadan, because I've eaten them, but I know you haven't. And I can tell you from my own perspective, that was a very powerful talk. And there's a lot I learned in it and a lot more that I can learn from you. Thank you, Imam.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you all for being here in this for this virtual presentation. We're honored to have all of you. We had many grand plans for programs and talks that all came to a stop because of this pandemic. So we're happy to be presenting this program, to be reaching out to all of you today. I'm going to be showing you a few slides just to give you a very superficial, quick introduction to our Islamic collection at the Free Library. And before I begin with the slide presentation, and I'm going to reiterate this at the end of the presentation, I would like everyone to feel free to come in and visit us in the Rare Book Department at the Free Library of Philadelphia anytime. No appointment needed. If it's to look at a book or if it's just to hang out and be at peace, or you need a quiet space, we are here for you. The books that we have are owned by the people of Philadelphia. And I hope you enjoy the presentation. So the Free Library of Philadelphia's Rare Book Department is part of special collections, where old, unusual, or one-of-a-kind objects are collected. It's a little bit like a museum with exhibits, and also a bit like a public library, because we are a public library, with free programs for people of all ages. It has a lot of different collections, including more than 100 handwritten books made in the Muslim world from the past 400 years. The book that you see pictured here is a copy of a famous commentary of the Quran that was shortened so it could be more easily taken on pilgrimage to Mecca. Handwritten books like this are called manuscripts, and most of the ones in our collection were given to the Free Library in the early 1930s, along with more than 1,000 paintings. Although some of the books and paintings have been studied and they get a lot of use in the Rare Book Department, such as like in classes and exhibitions, they've never really been shown widely, and most Philadelphians don't even know they exist. The manuscript that you see here is a Quran from India. The photo was taken by the Philadelphia Inquirer last year when the book was lent to the Police Touch Museum last year for their exhibition, their hands-on exhibition from America to Zanzibar, which was very successful. There are actually a lot of old manuscripts in our collection and in the Philadelphia area. And the Free Library partnered with other libraries to build a project to digitize and describe them all. The project, Manuscripts of the Muslim World, started about 2 years ago and will finish next year with more than 500 full-length Islamic books from about 1,000 to 1,900. And it's available for anyone to look online. It's free. Here, in this image, are the official digitized photographs of a collection of prayers for the Prophet Muhammad. They're made in Turkey around 250 years ago. The only illustrations in this book are these paintings that you see of Mecca and Medina, and you can see the Kaaba on the right-hand side. Our manuscripts include several dozen copies of the Holy Quran, many important Quranic commentaries, and other devotional books, as well as books in Muslim world languages that are not religious, like histories, literature, and scientific texts. On the left, as you can see, is a Quran that may have been copied in Egypt, and both my parents were born in Egypt during the Mamluk Empire 500 years ago. The middle top Quran was made around 1700 in South Asia and includes a Persian language interpretation between each line of the Arabic. So you can see how hard it is to translate, to transcribe these books, to understand them. The bottom middle photograph shows the beautiful binding of a Quran from 1700s Turkey. Finally, on the right-hand side is a Quran copied in North America. It's hard to tell when it was made because the makers tried to make it look very ancient, perhaps appealing to European tastes and book collectors by imitating older calligraphy. There are some extremely old items in the Free Libraries collection, but the oldest are a few pages called leaves. We call them leaves, such as this one from a Quran that was copied in what is now Iraq after the Muslim conquest of Mesopotamia and Persia over 1,000 years ago. One of the surprising things about very old books is that sometimes they don't look old at all. They can look in much better condition than last month's newspaper. Many of these manuscript Qurans here at the Free Library were made in India or Iran. Some of the most luxurious include really beautiful calligraphy and decorations painted in real gold. This 500-year-old Quran has flower patterns painted in the borders of the opening pages, and the verses are surrounded by gold. Although Qurans are never illustrated, many of the non-religious books in the Free Libraries collection include wonderfully painted scenes. The book of classical Persian poetry that you can see on the left was written by a Sufi poet in the 1300s, although this copy was made in the early 1800s in India and includes more than 200 brightly colored illustrations. In the middle is a copy of the Shahnameh, the epic of Iran, copied in the early 1600s. And on the right is a page from multi-volume history of the Muslim kings of India. These books tell more than just one story. Yes, there is the text itself, which may be poetry or prayers or history, but there are also the stories told by the decorations themselves and the handwriting and the paper and the binding. Also, the stories told by later readers. This book from India, for example, includes the main text inside the rainbow line borders, but it also notes in the margin and on scraps of paper, pasted and folded into the book by several different people who owned and read the book in the past 200 years. So these are books that are not only written by a lot of people, but we can notice how they interact with them. through time. The smallest item in our collection of Muslim world books is a miniature Quran that was possibly made in the Ottoman Empire or Turkey in the 1700s or 1800s. It lives in its own sterling silver box, and it was kept almost like an amulet to be mounted to a flag or kept as a talisman. The book is less than 2 inches tall, but it is a complete Quran written in very tiny handwriting. The largest book in our collection happens to be also a Quran, and that's me in the picture over there. This one was probably made in India in the early 1800s. Older manuscripts, unlike a book that you would buy today, often don't include information on where or when they were made. So academics have to guess based on the decorations and the calligraphy and the book binding and other clues. They have to get at that information. This large Quran has unusual decorations to mark the 30 juz divisions and the 15 sajda prostration marks and other border symbols. I apologize for mispronouncing words. I know I am. While the Muslim world is vast, most of the books in our collection come from India or Iran, which were each ruled by Muslim empires that celebrated bookmaking and made it very culturally valuable. But one of the most interesting books in this book from Nigeria is this book from Nigeria, which is a loose leaf Quran that is wrapped in goat skin and kept in a portable satchel woven with traditional Hausa designs. And the collection includes books from elsewhere in Africa, Asia, Europe, the Middle East, and some of these books have global lives before making their way here to Philadelphia. This anthology of Persian language poetry that you see was dedicated to a Muslim leader in Kashmir by the Jewish scribe who spent years on the detailed calligraphy and decorations. Open, which you see in front of you, is Open, meaning University of Pennsylvania, is the website that has all the pictures from our collection, and it's designed for computers, not for people. So sometimes it can be a little bit clunky and difficult to use. So please, if you're using it online and if you have troubles using it, reach out to us. If you have any questions or require a step-by-step guide on how to navigate it. It includes every page, including the binding, of every book that was sturdy enough to scan. A few books we could not scan because of their condition. All of the images that you see through this website can be saved by you, and you can use them however you like. The only reason the free library has these books, and books of any kind, is so that we can share them with Philadelphians. So we're very excited to work with all of you to make these books useful to you in any which way we can. We thank you for letting us introduce you to some of them. And now I will introduce you to the star of our little presentation, Abdullah ibn Hanif, if we can get him on the screen. Abdullah is a Philadelphia teen who will recite by heart from the Quran. And as Abdullah told me yesterday, when we were doing a dry run and I was looking at his eyes move, he told me, "Don't be fooled by the eyes. I'm actually reciting by heart. I'm not reading anything." So thank you, Abdullah, for participating. It is an honor to have you. It is because of you that we have Quran Teen. You are the teen. Thank you.
As-Salaamu-Alaikum wa rahmatullah. As-Salaamu-Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello everyone. My name is Abdullah ibn Hanif. I'm 16 years old, live in West Philadelphia, and I'm studying to become Hafiz of Quran. So I'm going to recite to you all ayat 36 to 46 from Surah An-Nisa. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم واعبدوا الله ولا تشركوا به شيئا وبالوالدين إحسانا وبذي القربى واليتامى والمساكين والجار ذي القربى والجار الجنب والصاحب بالجنب وابن السبيل وما ملكت أيمانكم إن الله لا يحب من كان مختالا فخورا الذين يبخلون ويأمرون الناس بالبخل ويكتمون ما آتاهم الله من فضله وأعتدنا للكافرين عذابا محينا والذين ينفقون أموالهم رئاء الناس ولا يؤمن بالله ولا باليوم الآخر ومن يكن الشيطان له قرينا فساء قرينا وماذا عليهم لو آمنوا بالله واليوم الآخر وأنفقوا مما رزقهم الله وكان الله بهم عليما إن الله لا يظلم مثقال ذرة وإن تك حسنة يضاعفها ويؤتي من لدنه أجرا عظيما فكيف إذا جئنا من كل أمة بشهيد وجئنا بك على هؤلاء شهيدا يومئذ يود الذين كفروا وعصوا الرسول لو تسوى بهم الأرض ولا يكتمون الله حديثا يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تقربوا الصلاة وأنتم سكارى حتى تعلموا ما تقولون ولا جنوبا إلا عابري سبيل حتى تغتسلوا وإن كنتم مرضى أو على سفر أو جاء أحد منكم من الغائط أو لمستم النساء فلم تجدوا ماء فتيمموا صعيدا طيبا فامسحوا بوجوهكم وأيديكم إن الله كان غفورا رحيما ألم تر إلى الذين أوتوا نصيبا من الكتاب يشترون الضلالة ويريدوا أن تضلوا سبيلا والله أعلم بأعدائكم وكفى بالله وليا وكفى بالله نصيرا من الذين حادوا يحرفون الكلم عن مواضعه ويقولون سمعنا وعصينا واسمع غير مسمع وراعنا ليا بألسنتهم وطعنا في الدنيا ولو أنهم قالوا سمعنا وأطعنا واسمع وانظرنا لكان خيرا لهم وأقوم ولكن لعنهم الله بكفرهم فلا يؤمنوا إلا قليلا صدق الله العظيم. What I have just recited, this is what it means. Worship Allah and associate nothing with Him. And to parents do good, and to relatives, orphans, the needy, the near neighbor, the neighbor farther away, the companion at your side, the traveler, and those whom your right hand possess. Indeed, Allah does not like those who are self-deluding and boastful, who are stingy and enjoin upon people's stinginess and conceal what Allah has given them of His bounty. And we have prepared for the disbelievers a humiliating punishment. And those who spend their wealth and to be seen by the people and believe not in Allah nor in the last day, and he to whom Shaitan is a companion, then evil is he as a companion. And what upon them if they believed in Allah in the last day and spent out of what Allah provided for them. And Allah is ever about them knowing. And indeed, Allah does not do injustice as much as an atom's weight. While if there is good deed, He multiplies it and gives from Himself a great reward. So how when we bring from every nation a witness, and we bring you, O Muhammad, against these people as a witness? That day, those who disbelieve and disobey the messenger will wish they could be covered by the earth, and they will not conceal from Allah's statement. O you who have believed, do not approach prayer while you are intoxicated until you know what you are saying, or in a state of janab, except those passing through, until you have washed your whole body. And if you are ill or on a journey, or one of you comes from the place of relieving himself, or you have contact women and find no water, then seek clean earth and wipe over your faces and your hands. Indeed, Allah is ever pardoning and forgiving. Have you not seen those who are given a portion of the scripture, purchasing error and wishing you would lose the way? And Allah is the most knowing of your enemies, and sufficient is Allah as an ally, and sufficient is Allah as a helper. Among the Jews are those who distort words from their usage and say, we hear and disobey, and hear but be not heard, and twisting their tongues and defaming the religion. And if they had said, we hear and obey and wait for us, it would have been better for them and more suitable. But Allah has cursed them for their disbelief, so they believe not except for a few. I want to thank you all for listening, and I want to thank the Free Library for giving me this opportunity to recite here today. As-Salaamu-Alaikum. Goodbye.
Walaikum salam. Well, Ameen. Thank you, Abdullah. MashaAllah, that was beautiful. On behalf of the Free Library of Philadelphia, I want to thank all of our participants today. Assistant Imam Hudhaifah AbdulHayy, Joseph Shemtov, Abdullah Ibn Hanif, and our producer, Caitlin, who's running things flawlessly from behind the scenes. And all of you for participating and experiencing Quran Teen with us. It was a journey. So I just want to let everyone know before we end, we will be sending a follow-up survey and a list of resources that will help us all during this pandemic. But feel free to reach out to us with any questions or comments, and we will get back to you. So I say shukran, thank you, ma salama, and goodbye. Thank you.